Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today's segment of tips and talks is a varied collection of 3 tips that I've heard about recently that I think can make my life and probably your life a little better. Skill stacking is a concept I heard from Dan Coe, who's one of my primary mentors right now, even though he probably doesn't know it. And it refers to the combining of multiple skills, often from a wide variety of fields, in order to become a person with unique value, unusual value, because we're stacking and synthesizing various competencies that makes us more unusual, more unique, more creative, more marketable, and more effective. The concept comes from multidisciplinary learning theories that interrelate concepts and are cross-functional. And if you've been following the channel, then you might know that I recently doubled down on and fully claimed being a synthesizer. And now that I'm claiming it, I see that I have been a synthesizer my entire life. And in fact, skill stacking is what I have done forever. I just didn't have a name for it. And that made it harder to claim, harder to appreciate, harder to use. They say that human beings need language to become more of what we actually are, to even recognize our actual beingness. So while I didn't know the name of skill stacking, I did use and embrace and share this concept from the world of performing arts called being a triple threat, which is somewhat similar to skill stacking. It refers to a person, a performer who has become or is good at acting, singing, and dancing, which of course gives that performer a serious edge over other performers who are specialized in just one of those areas. The concept of being a generalist, when I looked it up, seems to have come from a mindset that was popularized by people like Scott Adams, who created a comic strip called Dilbert. And he apparently said that there is great value in combining several mediocre skills to create a unique and marketable talent stack. So just because a triple threat is someone who happens to be really good at 3 areas, there's also great benefit to stacking skills that aren't even the most stellar in order to make you unique and special. And I'm going to give you an example of that from my own life. But first, I want to share why skill stacking is important, how it's effective. First of all, it's diversification. Like in all areas where you want robustness, combining different things, in this case, different skills, allows you to draw on a broad range of knowledge and experience. And so it makes you more adaptable. It makes you more innovative. So if you have a unique combination of skills, you are differentiated from almost everyone else. There's no one else that's going to be exactly like you in the job market, in the entrepreneurial space, or in your everyday life. No matter what it is that you're doing, you have a competitive edge because you have stacked those skills. So when you stack skills, you have even more flexibility because you have more versatility, and you're able, in that case, to tackle a wider range of tasks and challenges, which gives you problem-solving skills. It gives you the ability to see things from different perspectives and to think more creatively and to solve complex problems. So the way that you can apply this concept of skill stacking is, first of all, identify your core skills and passions. Recognize what you have either developed or what you came in gifted with. And then identify skills that complement those core skills. Now, here's a corollary that's seems a little bit contradictory. It can be really powerful to choose complementary skills to develop in order to stack those skills on top of each other. But you also can choose skills that you simply feel like developing, because we can't always plan in advance or anticipate how skills are going to stack and what the stacking of those skills will lead us to. So I say, sure, choose skills that complement your core skills, but also go ahead and learn other skills just because you feel like it. And then once you have this unique skill stack, find ways to really embrace the unique combination that is yours. and integrate them and play with them and work with them and celebrate them. Now, a big part of this is mindset. I want you to keep on remembering. I want to keep on remembering myself that skills stacked are simply more robust, in addition to making us more unique. But we live in a world that idealizes the specialist, and we continuously hear messages that suggest we should niche, that say we need to have one pointed focus. And so sometimes it can be really challenging to remember the value of the generalist. And that's why I am making this video today. That's why I'm including this tip in this segment. Then look for unique ways to utilize and to showcase your combination of stacked skills, because how we show up in the world and how we take up space and how we share our messages and our skills makes a difference. It creates opportunities and openings for us, and it gives us the chance to contribute our unique perspective and the power of our stacked skills to the world. But here's another example from my own life. When I realized that I wanted to be a dancing performer, I was in my early 50s. And since I didn't even start dancing until I was 49, it was pretty clear that I was probably never going to be in the elite top percentage of dance performers. But I thought maybe I could be a dance performer who inspires other post-50 women to remember that it's never too late and they are never too old. And then I saw yet another skill that I already possessed that I could stack on top of that. And that is that I am a public speaker, that I speak on stages, that I speak on social media. And so I might be able to be highly unique in developing myself as an inspirational speaker who shares about her dance journey as a way to change the narrative on aging. And so, in fact, I share about my dance journey as a way of saying we can change the narrative on aging. So that's another example of skill stacking that made me unique when I combined things that I either loved and wanted to get better at or already had as skill sets. So if you are someone who constantly thinks you have too many interests, reframe that thought and see that stacking those skills is powerful, and you can identify and develop a combination of abilities that will set you apart from everyone else. And then by continuously learning and following the path of your own interest, and then integrating and stacking those new skills, you're going to become even more versatile, even more creative, and even more of a valuable contribution. You might have heard of the tips for productivity for people with ADHD, like using Pomodoro technique or body doubling. And if you don't know what those are, then let me know down in the comment section. And if you're interested, I'll make some videos about those skill sets too. But for right now, I want to share a less common tip that I just heard about: scent anchors. Scent as in smell, and anchors as something that grounds an experience. In this case, that grounds a focused work session. So you can use a special scent to help you if you have ADHD, or even if you don't, to focus better. The idea is that when you smell a specific scent, every time you sit down to do focused work, your brain starts to think, oh, I guess it's time to concentrate now. Because with some repetition and using concepts from habit formation and association, or what psychologists would probably call conditioning or Pavlovian responsiveness, your brain starts to link the smell with being focused. And then as you begin to build on that association, the scent will start stimulating alertness over and over again. And if you, in addition, use a scent that stimulates alertness, like peppermint or citrus, then boom, double power. While some smells can make you feel more awake and alert, there are others that can calm you down, make you feel happy, like, for example, lavender. And if a scent makes you feel happy and calm, you might be able to work better, because you're also building a connection between this experience of calmness and feeling good and working or being focused. Now, because conditioning an anchor or making an association like this through habit design is just that, is an anchor. You're going to have to reserve that scent for only the focused time. So choose a specific scent. It could be in the form of an essential oil or a scented candle or even an herbal tea. And then create a routine or a ritual that you can repeat every time you want to focus. So maybe you drink that tea and then you work, or you smell the candle and light it before and at the end of a focus session. And then over time, your brain will start to associate the specific scent with a particular state of focus or flow and productivity. And so you'll have this mental cue or anchor that will every time help you shift into a more attentive and engaged state. And then, as an added bonus, you can also pair using a scent anchor with a Pomodoro technique by diffusing the scent when you're doing your 25-minute Pomodoro session. And then when you take your short breaks, moving the scent away. Let me know if using a scent anchor like this helps to improve your productivity and your focused work time. Tip number 3 is a communication tip that you can use in your relationships, which I heard through my teacher, John Wineland. And if you're hanging around with me, you're going to be hearing more about John Wineland because he's a teacher of sexual yoga, intimacy, and polarity that has had a very big impact on my life over the past 3 years. This magic phrase that he taught is 3 words you can use in a disagreement. You can use it when you want to create more connection or to communicate compassion or to work with another person, a lover, a partner, a teammate, to collaborate together. And those 3 magic words are, that makes sense. In a disagreement, you can say, I see where you're coming from, and that makes sense. Now, if you feel like you have a good position with the person, you might also be able to move that into, here's another way to look at it. That's a bit iffy. Start with, in a disagreement, I see where you're coming from, and that makes sense. In a discussion, when you want to create connection, you might say, that makes sense. I hadn't thought about it that way before. And immediately you've built rapport and openness and deepened your connection, which will also go far to creating more collaboration. You could say, that makes sense. Let's build on that idea and see where it takes us. You're going to have created a type of connection with another person where they're going to feel so much more receptive to your ideas because they know that you are paying attention and listening and receptive to theirs. When you say that makes sense, you validate the person you're speaking to. You acknowledge their perspective and you show them that you understand and value their point of view. The phrase, that makes sense, communicates empathy. It makes the other person feel heard and respected, and like you understand a little bit about how they feel. That makes sense will help to build trust and rapport because people are more likely to open up and to engage with you when they feel understood. And when you say that makes sense, it helps them to feel that you understand them. And then in a disagreement, when you have a lot of tension, when there's a problem or something to repair, saying, that makes sense, can diffuse the tension because you're showing that you recognize the validity of their perspective, even if you don't fully agree. And if you're the type of person who is always inclined to fix things for another person, if you hear what they're saying and understand their complaint and say, that makes sense, it can stop you from trying to fix it, but instead say, I understand where you're coming from. I see what you're challenged with, and I have empathy for your experience. When you say that makes sense, you validate, you can heal misunderstandings, you can reduce tension and conflict, communicate empathy, build rapport, and create an opening in your conversations and build the ability to effectively collaborate. That's why I left it for last. I think it's magic. Try it out. See if it makes a difference in your life. Come back and let me know because I would love to hear your experience or your comments or even how that's landing for you right now. If anything today was useful or interesting, or if you just want to follow along on this crazy wild journey, please subscribe to my channel. Right now, I am posting speaking and communication skills videos on Mondays, random tips and talks on whatever comes up on Tuesdays. Wednesdays are beautiful interviews with amazing people who I know and those I'm going to be knowing soon and that I want you to know. And Fridays are videos of behind the scenes or some information about my current nomadic life or a life update. In the meantime, check out these videos and have the most beautiful day.